you for watching this review of the Resilient Food System Infrastructure Program, or RFSI. We'll be providing a brief overview of RFSI and California's proposed priorities for this opportunity. At the end of the presentation, we'll provide the email address where you can submit your comments on the proposed priorities, as well as any questions that you may have. RFSI is a cooperative agreement with the United States Department of Agriculture Agricultural Marketing Service. This means USDA may have more direct involvement in funded projects and determinations on the allowability of specific activities and items of cost than a grant program. RFSI serves middle of the supply chain needs for locally or regionally produced food products. The purpose of the RFSI program is to build resilience in the middle of the food supply chain, provide more and better markets to small farms and food businesses, support the development of value-added products for consumers, fair prices, fair wages, and new and safe job opportunities. Eligible commodities for the RFSI include specialty crops like fruits, vegetables, tree nuts, horticulture and medicinal herbs and spices, dairy, grains for food, aquaculture, and other food products, excluding meat and poultry. Meat and poultry are not eligible for this funding because of other similar USDA programs that are already in place for those commodities. The following entities are eligible to apply for RFSI funding: agricultural producers or processors, or groups of agricultural producers and processors, nonprofit organizations, local governments, and tribal governments that are operating middle of the supply chain activities, and institutions that are bringing together producers to establish cooperative or shared infrastructure or invest in equipment that will benefit multiple producers middle of the supply chain activities. California received approximately $38 million in RFSI funding. Up to $1 million of that funding is available for state-supported activities, including technical assistance. That technical assistance can either support the public in developing their RFSI applications or as direct business support. After funding for state-supported activities and CDFA's cost to administer the program, approximately $34 million will be available for competitive grants. Projects will begin in fall of 2024 and must end by February of 2027. Minimum project amount for competitive infrastructure grants is $100,000. The maximum project amount is $3 million. Total project amount includes match and federal funds. Match of 50% of the total project cost is required and can be in the form of cash match, in-kind contributions, or any combination thereof. Historically underserved farmers and ranchers, and SBA qualified small disadvantaged businesses, women-owned small businesses, and veteran-owned businesses are eligible for reduced match at 25% of project costs. For projects with a maximum award amount of $3 million, a 50% match requirement would mean $1.5 million in federal funds and $1.5 million in match. The same project with a 25% match requirement would be $2.25 million in federal funds and $750,000 in match. 2 slides, we'll take a look at some of the eligible project types as defined by USDA for this program. Those project types include expanding capacity for processing, aggregation, and distribution of agricultural products to create more and better markets for producers, modernizing manufacturing, tracking, storage, and information technology systems, enhancing worker safety through adoption of new technologies or investment in equipment or facility improvements, improving the capacity of entities to comply with federal, state, and local food safety requirements, improve operations through training activities. Additional eligible product types include supporting construction of a new facility, modernizing or expanding an existing facility, construction of wastewater management structures, modernizing processing and manufacturing equipment, and developing, customizing, or installing equipment that reduces greenhouse gas emissions, increases efficiency in water use, improves air and/or water quality, and/or meets one of USDA's climate action goals. Over the next 2 slides, we'll review CDFA's draft program priorities for which we are currently seeking public comment. Those priorities include projects submitted directly by growers, producers, processors, and shippers that support middle of the supply chain activities. Projects that benefit historically underserved farmers as defined by USDA. Socially disadvantaged farmers as defined by AB 1348, the Farmer Equity Act of 2017. And or agricultural operations that qualify as small disadvantaged businesses, women-owned businesses, or veteran-owned businesses defined by U.S. Small Business Administration. Projects that enhance worker safety or facilitate compliance with the produce safety rule of the Food Safety Modernization Act. CDFA's draft program priorities also include shovel-ready construction and infrastructure projects that can reasonably be completed within the grant duration. Projects that reduce greenhouse gas emissions and increase water savings. And projects that facilitate training opportunities, including trainings related to food safety, process modernization, and use of equipment or enhanced facilities funded through RFSI. This concludes today's presentation. Thank you so much for joining us. Please submit your public comments and any questions that you may have via email to grants@cdfa.ca.gov, and be sure to include RFSI in the subject line. Public comments must be received by 5 p.m. Pacific Time on August 3rd, 2023. And we encourage you to visit CDFA's RFSI website for additional information and to receive email updates, including notifications when we begin accepting RFSI applications.